Now, if you've been watching my videos for the last couple of weeks, you know that I'm a big Arcane fan right now. And my main characters are Vi and Caitlyn. Um, I guess you kind of always mould to the character that you feel you are closest to. And I guess mine's Vi because we both like girls. um, but we're both incredibly loyal to the bone, and there's nothing we wouldn't do for the ones we love. And that's kind of why I love Vi, because she stays true to her heart. And I know some people are going to argue, she tried to kill Jinx in the second season. I can even understand that myself, because I had a brother that went bad, really bad, banned his son, his mother, told his mother to wish he died of cancer, and did some really horrible, unspeakable things that I still haven't I will never trust him for. But I wrote him off at the time, said that cunt's dead. He takes a step anywhere near us, I'm going to put him in the ground. And if he kills himself, I'm not wasting my time going to the cunt's funeral. I can understand where she's coming from, having a sibling that goes bad, She got out of prison 7 years of wondering what happened to her sister, to find out that she became a monster. And even when she was there, she tried to, find her sister, but I think realised once she had killed Caitlyn's mother, the very first person that Vi had ever fallen in love with, she had killed her mother. I think she kind of saw the reality of what happened to Jinx, or her sister Powder, and she was willing to kill her. And she even let Caitlyn take the shot when she was right in front of her. But as soon as she saw even a slight bit of Powder, especially when she saw Isha, she saw not just Powder, but she saw herself, she pulled the kill back order. And this was like moments after their first kiss, so they were only in a relationship for like fucking 15 minutes when Caitlyn and Vi had their argument, and Cait hit her in the guts and walked off and abandoned her. Like, this is their first kiss. You could tell it was their first kiss by the kind of nervousness of the first one and the passion of the second one. So they were only in a relationship for like 15 minutes before Caitlyn gave her the boot, or the back of the stock. And Caitlyn is just Vi is just a character that stays true to her word. Once she realised her sister was still there, she pulled back the kill order, and she paid for it. And her entire life has been paying, to look after her sister. One of her first quotes is, "I want better for Powder. I don't want her to live this life." And two quotes I want to give from Vanda. "You got a good heart, kid. Don't let the world change that." Second one is, "What happens out there happens on you." So those quotes have lived with her the rest of her life. She has never changed in the slightest, I don't think. She's always been noble to her heart, what she believes is true, and incredibly loyal. She has always taken everyone else's, everyone that's underneath her. She's always taken the responsibility and the guilt for what's happened, and her entire life has been suffering. So what I want to do with this video is I want to talk about the sort of dream as a Vi fan. Now, if you've watched this, you've seen these characters, you've seen Vi get the living shit beaten out of her, dragged through the mud, and she gets a slight bit of happiness and it's torn away from her constantly. I mean, she did survive the end of it, and she was with Caitlyn, and I'm happy for that, like I really am. But I kind of want to see more of them. I mean, I really hope the outpour of social media and how big it's been kind of shows Riot that there is definitely still more room for stories and money to be made if they do movies on Piltover and Zuarn. Like, there is so much there. Like, I'm interested to see what Savika does. Savika just sat down the council. She was an underworld criminal, for ages. She served Silco. She was as his right-hand woman. And here she is in the council of Piltover, and she sat down with this fucking cowards, and they gave her such a fucking dirty look. And these pieces of shit fled Piltover when it was in danger, and they had the hide to sit down at the fucking council seat and look at her with disgust. I mean, I want to see her rip their fucking smirks off their face. I really want to see some more Savika kind of really deal with the Piltovers and the council, and sort of bridge some sort of link between Piltover and Zuarn, which makes it fair, makes their lives better, makes their people better. Because at the end of the day, I believe, now that Jinx is dead, quotation marks, I think Echo is going to do his absolute best to make sure that what he saw in the other universe, he's going to try and turn his Zuarn into that. I think the rest of his mission so far is going to be turning Zuarn into the paradise that it was in another world. And I think Zavika is going to be a big hand in that, especially since they fought on opposite sides. But I want to see more of Caitlyn, and I want to see more of V, You know, kind of putting on the sort of persona that everyone thought they should have been doing. I mean, we got to see V put on the Enforcer uniform, right? And that was dangerous, man, because you got to remember, these were the people that killed her parents. She fell in love with one, and that's why it's such a beautiful story, because, you know, it was a high noble family of people that didn't give a shit about her kind in her city, and it was also an enforcer herself, and she's, you know, she the first time she got the badge, she threw it away, until she realised that Cait went in there and fucking blasted him for refusing to give her a badge. You know, she went into the enforcer's office and just fucking pulled their heads off them, and refused funding if they did not accept Vi as an enforcer. And she turned it away, of course, but eventually she did. She put the uniform on. She put the badge on of the very people that killed her parents, her enemy. You know, this was a massive moment for Vi, a massive moment. She believed in her heart that it wasn't right to put the uniform on because of what happened, and she didn't. But once she realised that Caitlyn went in there and fucking upped him for her, she knew that her heart was in the right place, and that was probably the right thing to do, and she did. She put the uniform on, she put the badge on. But you didn't really get much of it. I mean, you got to see where like an enforcer armor, or at least a chest plate, at the very end of the season, and she had the badge on her. But I kind of want to see the series where it's kind of based with them in the game, and they're just cops, you know. She's taking the role of sheriff, and then they're running around, they're fighting criminals, they've got to find Singed, and yeah, maybe his story, because he's going to go from down here all the way to over here and sell chem weapons to the Noxus Empire. So maybe there might be movies that lead from that story into that, but they're just two cops out there, and I'd like to see something. I don't know if this is mentioned by a YouTuber that I've been watching. I'm not sure if it's on the wiki or not, but hopefully with you know V becoming part of Enforcers, that they actually change the name of them from Enforcers, which is a very oppressing name, especially to the people of Zuarn, but then change the name to the Wardens, because it's a very protective name, you know, from this name that's been bad blood between both cities for so long, from Enforcers, and changing it over to the Wardens, and having a recruitment office in Piltover, so that, you know, because again, people from Zuarn were wearing the armor at the last fight. There were Zarnots that died wearing the Enforcer armor. So I'd love to see these two cities become one, or at least a method of getting there, at least watching movies, watching that happen. Having a warden office start up in Zuarn, and having people actually join to protect both cities would be beautiful. But I kind of want to see, like I said, I want to see the two girls being cops like they kind of are in the game. A game I'll never play. But also, my dream for them, since I've seen these two get the shit beaten out of them, black and blue, and I'm tired of it, but even at the end of this, they both survived, and they both had each other, but I kind of feel that, you know, there's so much guilt on V's heart of her sister dying, you know, because her entire life has suffered because of her sister, and that's most likely why Jinx died, quotation marks, to finally free her sister of her, because she's the Jinx. But no, firstly I want to get to this. I really hope that Caitlyn tells her that she might be alive, because it's going to be a really big healing moment. It'll be a room for Vi to go, okay, she's alive. She's out there, she's alive. Hopefully she'll heal, and when she's ready, she'll come and find me again. If she doesn't, I fear that, you know, Vi's a very loyal person, and if she's not told and she finds out that, you know, that Caitlyn knew that she was alive, I think having the loyalty, because like I said, she's very loyal to the bone. Having the person you love the most in the world not tell you something that you need to know might have a very negative effect on Vi, and she might do what she does best, and that's the very self-destructive nature of telling Caitlyn to go fuck herself and pissing off to try and find where her sister is, going on that sort of homicidal, self-destructive part that she tends to do. So I really hope that, you know, there's a conversation in whatever comes next that Jinx might be alive, and it'll give her a little bit of hope, but also she might like not chase after her and realise that, okay, I've got everything I need here, and when my sister's ready, she's healed or done something, she'll find me. If she needs my help, she knows where to find me. But hopefully, like, it's something like where she has this like massive, I don't know what it'd be, because you can't really, there's not much of a big networking at the moment with all this sort of stuff, but like some sort of radio call comes in where there's like a massive blue cloud of flare being pushed out from an island, you know, or so from the distance, like, you know, like a mountain that maybe the Piltovans can see, where they see a massive blue flare off in the distance, and that would instantly tell Vi who it is. But what I really want to see, right, is something beautiful. I want to see the marriage. I want to see a marriage between Caitlyn and Vi. I want to see Vi become Violet Caraman, You know, join the household. But what I really want to see now, obviously they're two chicks. They can't have kids of each other, and that's not scientifically advanced in this sort of view. This kind of is. You know, you got robotic arms and necromancy, but you know, they're lesbians. They're not going to have some dude come into their life, have sex with them to have a kid, right? They're not going to do that. You know. So what I'd love to see is something that kind of calls to Vi's past, and she takes in a bunch of orphans, 3 or 4 or 5 orphans, and they have them as their own kids. You know, she becomes the Vanda to these kids. She teaches them how to fight. She plays around with them. She becomes their mother, father, as in, you know, like Caitlyn does. They adopt their own kids from the streets, and they make them Kiramans and stuff like that. That's something I'd love to see. That'd be the dream for these characters. Is after watching the shit get beat out of them, watching just, you know, watching the pain all over their faces. That shit broke me, man. It really hurt. So I would love to see a marriage where they actually come together and they properly get married, and you know, V takes in some of her own orphans off the streets and becomes the Vanda to them. That'd be fucking awesome. And then I think I'd really be happy with their characters when they are, and maybe they jump into a story in the future or side characters or part of the overarching story these guys want to do. But I just feel that I've got no closure with these characters. I mean, at the end of the day, they left so many questions, and I believe they left those questions there to really stir the fandom up, to make them want more. Because they did have 5 seasons in their budget, right? And 2 of them are done with here. And the next season might be in Noxus, and the next season after that might be in Dramaska. I don't even know how to say it properly. And then Ionia. So it's expanding across the world, right? It's going boom, boom, boom. But hopefully, with, you know, the outcry and the questions, they are going to, of course, get some more funding, because at this current time they've got no doubt have analysts in every single goddamn social media group. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Twitter's just pretty much porn, man. That's all I'm seeing from like that. It's just like non-stop Vi licking out friggin' thing or dildo. It's fucking wild. Facebook's very sad. It's got a lot of sad posts. Reddit, bloody Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that shit. So they're no doubt scanning that right now, seeing what really people want. And I think, at least from my point of view, not being a League of Legends fan, I want to stay here. I want to see what continues on. I don't care what the next problem is, man, if it's the Chem Lords or whatever, but I want shit here 100%. I'll throw myself into this, of course, but I'm not really excited at all for it. I don't give a flying shit. If they bring Mel into the Noxus story, if she's like one of the starters up, I'll definitely give it a look, man. I'll definitely be interested, but I just do not care for this place, so I'm not an actual League player. And they've expanded to a point now where they've not just paid homage to the game that they're playing, but they're now 100% got a lot more fans in that aren't actual gamers or that aren't actual League players. I mean, hopefully this game was made to promote, this show was made to promote the game, right? As simple as that. It's made to promote the game. But they're now building the game's story off the Arcane story, right? All the lore here is getting changed to fit the show. So I really hope they see there's a lot more potential for stories. I hope they spend a lot of money on staying here with previous characters, and you know, we get to stay within Piltover and Zuarn. Even some movies, we get to see what happens here. And while the shows kind of focus on these areas and characters, and even the background stories, like the war, seeing, you know, we only got to saw Vi and Powder's mum a couple times. The first time we actually saw him, we heard her speak, was actually when Vi was badly injured, and basically Caitlyn used that drug on her, and she woke up in a panic, and she saw her mother, who called out her name, Violet, and she saw baby Powder beside her. And then we get to see her later on in the flashback at the bar. The first time we see them is they're both dead, and it's rough. And I'd love to see the rebellion in that. Like, maybe who is Vi's real father? Because a lot of people are saying that maybe Vanda is actually Vi's father, that she was a bit of a sleep-arounder-y sort of woman, even if she was in a relationship. I don't know. I'd like to see a lot more in this place, both backstory and that. And it's very powerful what they've done, you know. Like, I'm never going to play this game. I might not even play the MMO. I don't know. But the fact that I'm so intrigued in these stories and these characters, I want to learn more about the world, but I don't want to play the game because it's not really story content heavy. I just want to have this world expanded upon. And I say that, and I'm just like, fuck that. I want to stay in Piltover and Zuarn. There's still so many characters, man, here. There's still so many. I mean, like, can I get the bloody... so, I can you can obviously see Jinx and Echo. I don't know, is that the little rat dude? I think it's like the robot thing right there, like the one in the middle, kind of. Like, who the fuck is he? We never saw him. Right, we never saw him. Can I go over here? Oh, I can't. But you've got so many different characters that we haven't explored yet, right? Let's see if we can spot any of these guys. Nah. Chem punks. Right there. But you've still got so much here. So much here. And now, like I said, you've got Zarita on the council now, and that's going to be some crazy shit. So I'd love to see movies based on this area, backstories and current stories after Arcane of rebuilding and trying to put things together, and the girls being cops and Echo trying to restore Piltover to, Zuarn to the image you saw in the previous thing, and then all that sort of good stuff. I'd love to see that. Movies and even shows. I don't know how big. Shows take a lot longer than movies, but while they continue to tell stories in Noxus and then Damacia and then Ionia, and then once they've done that, they'll probably go to the southern continents down here. That's a big friggin' territory. And then, I don't know if the Shadow Isles probably like the last whatever, but what I believe is that I think the Arcane has been tampered with, and it's the very start. So, it's everything comes full circle. So whatever happens here at the start will eventually come back around and hit Piltover in the face. So I think the very last story that I'll ever tell will probably be back here, because I think the Arcane's been disturbed, and it's, you know, it's like Mother Nature. It's going to go absolutely nuts. It's going to cause issues everywhere from what happened to Piltover, and eventually probably leave the demon god out of here, the death demon thing. And whatever happened here will probably happen, you know, like you see here. Well, I don't fucking know. I don't want to go too far into it. I'm not a League player, but that's just kind of what I want to see. I want to see Vi and Caitlyn get married, and Vi become Violet Caraman and take some of her own orphans in and become the Van to them. That's kind of what I want for these two girls. And to play cops, you know, change them from the enforcers to the wardens and stuff like that, because that's the sort of thing I'd love to see. She's actually in Piltover. Yeah, she's actually a Piltovan character. And then you got Cait as the second one, I think. But yeah, that's kind of what I'd love to see, is that. But I just hope they stick around in this place to tell these guys stories. Anyway, I've rambled on for too much. I'm going to start repeating myself, and let me know what you guys think, because at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys are League players, or if you've never touched League, if you haven't touched League in a long time, or if you're just like me and you're kind of just massive Arcane fans, and you kind of want to stick around. You want to, you know, like you no doubt really want to see what all these places have got, but you kind of want to stick around and see what happens to these previous characters, because I don't know if I want to spend, like, you know, 6 years watching this and come back 6 years later to miss out on some cool shit. I don't know, like, there's a lot there, questions unanswered, especially with Singed and his daughter, which isn't even the law, it's a different father actually. And then of course Savika now on the council in Piltover. There's a lot there to explore in the current time before we eventually come back to these guys in a movie or a show or whatever. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, because this shit rattles in my brain 24/7 and I do not like it. It's robbed me and I want it out of my head. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'll be doing this shit until then. Anyway, catch you guys in the next vid. Have a good one.